start some businesses. Shorty, you thought it was, they better know it's not that. Talking all that online, they knowing that it's not fake. Sliding through my hood, I make maneuvers like a Uber, baby. Got a 10-year plan, these can't tell what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that in fluid. Young middle Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that leave before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shawty dick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair. Boy, we grew in there. Around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. My young hitter might go in. Uptown GN, working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out, cause all of my hitters too deep in. So no stress, no big. Baby, I'm just too jiggy. Better know I brought that with me. Case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my bed. Know how I'm coming, and they know what we headed. Be that left side, low end. That left side, low end. That left side, low end. That left side, low end.
We were living in some projects, and they were new projects.
Yeah.
They had hot and cold running water. They had hot and cold running water, baby.
Knowledge itself is important. I get the feeling you know that.
How do I get down?
Right, welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki. And we got a powerful show with a powerful guest. But y'all know before we get into our spiel, I got to do my usual greeting. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say Shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. Let me say Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Islam to all my Moorish brothers and sisters. Peace to all my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. Let me say what's up to all my Abo brothers and sisters. Let me say what's up to all my atheist brothers and sisters. What's up to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. And last but not least, let me say Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters all throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you're Black, I'm with you. And I hope that you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. And we can have unity without uniformity. And one day we're going to be able to disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. Shout out to my brother, the Slim Reaper, for that one. With that being said, my brother Negetee back on the shift. What you got for us?
What's going on, bro? First, I want to give honor and praise to Jesus Christ, of course.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say thank you to you, brother, for allowing me to come on your platform and even have this discussion. Of course, you let me come on other times with the whole Exodus thing, and this conversation that I wanted to bring to the table sort of kind of plays in part of that too. But specifically, this discussion will deal with the Table of Nations and the literal application of the Bible in regards to the Table of Nations. And the guest that I'm bringing on, his name is Dr. Nathaniel Jeanson, and of course he's with Answers in Genesis. And the funny thing about it, bro, is like sometimes in having discussion with other brothers and sisters in the faith, when you bring up Answers in Genesis, for some reason they just cringe up and like, well, they don't get it right, and all this other stuff. So I reached out to Dr. Nathaniel Jeanson just to see if he would be willing to do the show. And, I got the receipts. You've seen it in the emails. He said, hey, let's do it. Like, let's do it. Had a conversation with him last year. Which tells you, what I'm saying, I've actually been working in the background on this, and I've really tried to keep it on the hush hush. Jacoby should know about it. I told him and maybe some of the other brothers, but again, thank you for allowing me to do this. Yes, super team, the ones, baby. The ones, baby. No, I ain't gonna start. Calm down, G. Calm down. About to get hyped up already, but yeah, that's pretty much what this show is going to be about. He is going to go into his actual research on the male's Y chromosome, and within that, he has discovered a lot of things. So let me see. Do you have any questions or anything right now, or?
Yeah. The thing that I'm most interested in is he deals with DNA. And a lot of times, in talking to people who are opponents of the Bible and its validity, DNA is one of the first things that they bring up. And whether it's our Israelite brothers saying that DNA is fake, or it's our brothers in the conscious community, brothers and sisters in the conscious community, who say DNA is paramount. And so, what would be if you can say in this preview, what would you say would be who would be the most shocked to kind of see the evidence coming out of this, coming out of his research?
I think the conscious community will be absolutely shocked, and the reason why is because as I go through the outline, I'll go more into detail. But the reason why, from what I can tell, is that one of their premises concerning our ancestry as African Americans seems to be on par with what he's researched. We have an ancestor that separated at some point in time, or his descendants separated at some point in time in the area of Sudan. One went east, the other one went west. The problem is, though, with the conscious community, what their problem will be, I believe, is from my perspective, is the chronological outline or the timeline of when these things happen, because we have to deal with the Darwinian philosophy of evolution in regards to the origins of man. Dr. Jeanson, he deals with that as well. And so for anybody who would have questions on that in regards to his research, it would behoove you to come on and ask the man those questions. But yes, they will have our ancestry, our history, and I'm talking about the conscious community folks. They will have our history going back to millions of years, some even to billions of years in the most extreme. But his research, especially with that Y chromosome research, the Y chromosome observations, is tantalizing because it demonstrates that certain things happen not over billions of years, but within a few short generations. So I think they'll be the most shocked. The second who will be shocked will be the Black Hebrew Israelites, because they might not even be shocked. They may be very disappointed. But you know, that particular show, and he's agreed to do multiple shows. Just let them know. I think when I target that audience to, you know, just to have a conversation and let them know, maybe y'all not the real Jews, you know. Just
hey, you trying to? Hey, not see. I didn't think you was trying to be controversial, bro. But I think
but I'm not. I'm not. I'm just, you know, like we go
Cap
through life.
10K gonna see this, man. I'm just gonna warn you. Cap 10K is gonna see this. Just to FYI.
You know, my boots are on the balcony, and I don't see them shaking at all. I don't see them shaking.
Hey, listen.
But the thing is,
his words, not mine. Okay, these is Negetee words, not DMG's.
But see, the thing is, there may be a road that all of us will be able to come meet on as far as common ground. Because as far as the Black Hebrew Israelites are concerned, when I went and looked at like some of the results of many of our brothers and sisters that's doing the DNA test, and when they're looking at their tests, what you see is a lot of West African ancestry in there, up into the 70, 80, 90% range. But for some reason, you see a little bit of that European side pop up in the 20, 30, 40% range. But it makes sense.
Not for mine, by the way. It was only like 10% for me.
10%? Okay. That's good. That's good. You know what I'm saying?
Not that that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying, you know, I'm black. I'm black. I'm literally blacker than a lot of y'all.
That's what I was getting at. Bianchi, why not? Why not?
Subscribe now.
But you know, the thing about his research is that he looks at the history that influenced a lot of the migrations that would have marred some of that pure racial identity that people like to cling on to. As you can see from the test that you took, you detected some European ancestry in there. And so the crazy part about that is that might be the case for so many African Americans in the country because of the transatlantic slave trade. So he talks about that in his book. His book is called Traced, by the way. But
yeah,
I don't
we need to get a picture of the book, and so we can, you know, plug it and all of that too.
Okay, yeah.
For the actual show, not necessarily now, but for the actual show.
Okay, I got you. And so what I was just discussing, what I was just telling you about how he looks at the history and how it influenced migrations and things of that nature. the information that he finds within the Y DNA chromosome of the male of us men, because you know the Y chromosome is the same from father to son, father to son, father to son, all the way through. Women don't get that Y chromosome, but there are little corruptions that happen. And he, in his observations, he noticed that these corruptions, they don't happen over billions of years or thousands. He wouldn't be able to research if it took that long. But due to the fact that he is able to see with his eyes in a lab, it's my homeboy call. I call him that. He's able to see in the lab these changes within himself, within his father, his wife. He's tested so many different people. I think people from all around the world. I think over 400 people. Since a few years ago. He's probably had more tests. I'm pretty sure he has more tests. He's done more tests since then. Since me and him, he has even talked, because his information, his data is constantly updated.
He keep it up to date. Ain't nobody argue that this is old data. Okay.
Yeah. But and so one of his the sponsor or the creator of Answers in Genesis related his research to the Rosetta Stone, because when you look at the Rosetta Stone, you can see the 3 different languages that's on there, right? And so using that information from the Rosetta Stone, Champollion and every other Egyptologist, Champollion, I wouldn't even call him an Egyptologist, but
right.
But everybody after that, especially Flinders Petrie, they took that, they had that information available to them at that time and was able to open up a lot more of Egyptian history to the world during the 19th century. And from the 19th century on to today, the doors continue to be pushed open because we're finding more things and more anomalies. That's another key word that you might want to listen out for, anomalies. Because an anomaly is like something that pops up that's not is out of place. So like if you go to you might have seen pictures of the Egyptian light bulb, right? Where they have where you ever seen a picture or the hieroglyphs of what looks like an Egyptian light bulb? It has like a okay. Well, some people will laugh at that, but the problem is, can anybody explain why or how these priests were able to do their work 20, 30 feet underground where there is no sunlight coming in? You can't use mirrors to retract the light, because by the time the light you get 20 feet, there's no light to do anything with. Understanding how the Egyptians love to write their book of the dead on their tomb walls, the priests for the deceased, he can't do it.
Are those tunnels conducive for carrying torches? Exactly.
That's what I was getting at. They are, but think about it. You got to worry about the smoke, and you got to worry about the black soot that comes on the wall. We don't find no evidence of charcoal or anything inside of those tunnels. So that's an anomaly. The Baghdad battery, that's an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? So technology that for some reason they don't tell us about, but that's a whole different discussion. So yeah, and through his research, basically, and you know how I love the timelines. I love the revised timeline of the Egyptian history. Well, guess what? Dr. Jeanson's work has thrown more questions on our human history timeline. Instead of billions of years, the research that he's looking at is showing that all these so-called evolutionary changes, which are really adaptations and certain corruptions within the Y chromosome DNA, they're taking place over a few generations. So, and when he does the math, as far as the years are concerned, in regarding to those corruptions that take place, he's been able to date, you know what I'm saying, date it all the way back to about 6,000 years. 6,000 years is basically what the Bible, the Bible states that about 4,000 something years ago, maybe 5,000 years ago, that's when God created the world. But of course, this takes a literal approach to the Bible. And again, there are some Christians who do not take the literal aspects. But again, this research that he's doing, it demonstrates that it's most definitely literal. It's most definitely literal. You got any questions or any comments, anything?
Yeah, and that, well, when you say that the Bible, the biblical timeline and the history is literal, you know it's going to be a lot of people who challenge that. Like, it's going to be a lot of people that challenge that.
Yeah.
For example, how do you explain the Exodus or like the Noah's flood, for lack of a better title? How do you explain those things being literal and historical events based on Dr. Jeanson's research? Or can we get into that? Should we wait on that? Because if we need to wait,
no, we don't have to wait, because see, he's the subject matter expert, and so he's going to give it to you with the bare bone. Again, it's the research. Now, we always hear that Christians don't like science. They don't like science and all this other stuff. But here is a PhD scientist that is looking at information under a microscope, and the results, I mean, the research is yielding real results. The results change but not by much, as far as like the rate of corruption that he sees within that Y chromosome. The Y chromosome, like for let me give you an example. So, the DNA structure, I know they have a GTC or something like that. So you may have that same structure, and then the next generation, one letter may be off, and then the next generation, another letter may be off. So far, and so that's how that works. Those corruptions, they happen within a matter of 20 to 30 years in regards to a generation. So that means that he can look at those corruptions and use that as a clock, because I know that that within 3 generations, some type of corruption will take place within the DNA genome. Well, I can use that clock and go backwards in time, and when he does that, what he starts to see is what we see in the world today. Most of North Africa is made up of, Arab Muslims, and you have West Africa. Well, no, matter of fact, I'm jumping ships here. I'm jumping ships. I'm going too far into it. I don't want to do that. Basically, as far as the Bible timeline goes, again, it's like this. The Bible tells us between Adam and Jesus Christ is roughly about 4,000 years. Even if you was to use the Septuagint, which has at least an extra 350 years in it, you still end up between 4,000 to 5,000 years of history between Adam and Jesus Christ. The thing is, now his research is just confirming the literal application. So basically, that's the answer to that question. His research is yielding results that points to more of a literal application of the creation account, especially when it comes to the table of nations.
Okay. Hey, listen, man. This is going to be interesting to say the least, because it's always about PhD this, PhD that. And now we got a PhD coming on to break this whole thing down. And I'm curious to see the reaction from some people who put so much stock into what PhDs have to say. Now that you have a PhD coming to break this thing down, let's see if you still have the same energy when he may or may not agree with your position. And so, you know, that's why it's always funny to me when they talk about, well, the experts say this and the experts say that. Well, I can think of, it's just as many experts who say the opposite though.
Right.
So why should we believe your experts over the other ones? That's always my question. But
that's a good question too.
You know what I mean? Because when they talk about the experts say this and the experts say like that, like they the only experts with an opinion. And it's like, nah, hold on. We need to examine the other side, don't we? Or at least hear the other side out. But you don't want to do that because the other side don't agree with you. But he an expert too.
Right.
He an expert too, according to what you require, what your requirements for an expert is.
Yeah, so, I mean, he got a PhD from Harvard, of all places. I mean,
so his by academic standards, his PhD better than your PhDs. I'm just saying. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this go. But I got one more. How will this, in your opinion, turn on its head our Israelite brothers' doctrine of you are what your father is?
Maybe you can rephrase the question for me.
You know how our Israelite brothers say you are what your father is?
Yeah.
You know, Frederick Douglass wasn't an Israelite because it was known that his father was his enslaver, his European enslaver. Mm-hmm. Bob Marley is not an Israelite, i.e. not black, because his father was a man of European stock. And so I'm wondering how this research sort of turns that on its head, because my argument has always been here in the United States, when we look at the rate of sexual abuse our female ancestors went through, to the point where the world's richest physician at the time was brought a lot of these women and told to fix them, and he would torture them in the name of science, medical science, because he felt they didn't feel pain. And we talking about, that's a whole nother.
Talk about the father of gynecology or whatever you call it. I don't know his name. But
he created the examination tool for women to be examined in a private region.
Yeah.
But they would bring these women to him and say, "Can you fix them?" Not because anything was outwardly wrong with them physically, but they private areas had been so ravished that they could no longer perform sexually. And that's what they want. That's what they wanted him to fix. And it couldn't be fixed. They just had to be left alone so they could heal. But these
Yeah.
animals didn't even want to give them that time. They didn't even know how to conceive of that. And so this is how much these women were being raped from early ages.
Yeah.
And so Tazoriak made the statement one time that, or Captain Tazoriak, let me make sure I give him his proper respects. Captain Tazoriak said one time that every rape doesn't produce a child, just like every time you have sex, a woman doesn't get pregnant. And he's right. But the more you have sex, the higher the chance of a child being produced is. The same way, the more a woman is raped in that situation, the higher the chance of her conceiving a child with somebody. So my question to them is always, how far do you go back in a man's lineage to see who his male progenitors are? Because if you go further back in a lot of our lineages, those of us who are the descendants of the enslaved people of the antebellum South, you will see that there was likely a male progenitor at the beginning of that lineage. And so I'm wondering how this research would turn that sort of on its head for those who say you are what your father is, meaning your father was black, you're black. Because if your father's great grandfather was indeed a European, are you still black?
Well,
today doctrine.
This is the part where we might find common ground in, because in his research, he noticed that, if you go far back, what could happen is that lineage, that European lineage, can be dissolved. It can be absorbed. Yeah. And so that's why, like, he even criticizes the DNA test that, 23andMe and all that, because one, they don't really use the Y chromosome, and if they do, it's something about the methodology in which they use it. But perfect example, let's just say 4 generations ago, the ancestor was the whitest European man you could ever see in your life. Okay, and he raped one of the female slaves and produced a child. Well, he uses a Punnett square to show how, that descendant, that first generation, would look. He would have basically light brown skin. But let's say that child, if I'm not mistaken, like, what's his name? Chicken George?
Yeah.
Chicken George.
Son.
Yeah. He didn't go sleep with a white woman, right?
Right.
He married a black woman. And then his children married other black people. And then the next generation, more black. So whatever was apparent from that ancestor, that rape, that ancestor, that DNA, by the 4th generation, you won't even be able to tell that they had any Europeans in their blood.
And that makes sense. That makes sense.
And see, his argument is that, and this is mine too. Why are we running around here making a big deal about a person's physical features? Because even the whitest person, and he points this out, even the whitest person can have some of that Ethiopian blood in them too. It's just that, like, again, reverse it. This man, and let's just take all the.
This could also go heavy towards what I've said for a little bit over a year now, because my mother couldn't remember my blood type, and neither could I. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me just go donate some blood and figure out what my blood type is, because my daughter's was O positive, my wife's was O positive. So I'm like, yeah, it's about time I, got this figured out. So I go donate, and I'm waiting to, find out what's what. And I was O positive. But so if my son not O positive, might have some problems up in here. But
oh my God,
because everybody else on positive, so you know. But anyway,
I'm so positive, and I ain't your son. Okay,
but
because I'm O positive, I ain't your son.
hey, you know. But so we I didn't know it was that rare. I guess the only one that's rarer is O negative. But
Yeah,
so we
yeah, no,
or not that it's rare, is that we can donate to anybody.
right,
But,
exactly. But to your question and comment, yeah, if we was to reverse it, a man who a European who marries the darkest woman from Africa, let's say that their child grows up in a European country, that first generation will be about as brown, light brown. But as that child or their children marry into the population, they're going to get lighter and lighter until all that dark skin is gone.
Yeah, it's like if Blake Griffin's son marry a white woman, it's the pigmentation is going to be lesser and lesser, or Patrick Mahomes if his son marry a white woman, because his mom white.
It's a wrap.
His wife white. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's gonna be all bad. And the point I was trying to make about me donating blood was, when you can donate blood to anybody, whether they considered white or European or East Indian or Native American or Latino or whatever they ethnic background is, when we can all donate blood to each other, when we can all donate organs to each other, what do race really mean?
Nothing.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
you slice me open, you slice my white neighbor open, it's the same. But somewhere along the line, we fell for the okie doke. And when I say we, I mean all of us fell for the okie doke. That the outside is what matters. Because on the inside, unless somebody can tell me we got different stuff, like, but maybe we got an extra lung, or we got an extra kidney, or they got an extra something that make us all different, like for real, we fell for the okie doke with this race thing. Because and it's sad, because I tell my kids and my sister all the time, unless it's a zombie apocalypse or alien invasion, we ain't gonna really ever see each other as human. It's always gonna be this barrier when it comes to race.
That topic might be a real topic within the next couple of years. But as far as like what you would call a divergence in what is human and what is not, but that's another conversation. But yes, as far as race is concerned, it's pointless, because even in his book, I've read enough of it so far I can remember most of it, or most of the parts I've read. Basically, what he points out is that the population at a particular time in history, when you look at you might see something like 17,000, or let's just say 1 billion people, right? Even to this day, if you look at all of the land that is inhabited by mankind today, you only have at least 35% of the earth that is inhabited by man, even with 7+ billion people on the planet today. So one, that discounts the notion that we have overpopulation. Two, for people like the guy that created the field of gynecology or whatever, his idea and the science behind him promotes the same idea that, you know, some humans are not really humans, and it spreads. But I kind of lost track of thought there. But in any case, the inhabitable land where people live at today, in other words, means that, guess what? You and I might be cousins. Me and you definitely have a common ancestor. And it could go back as far as the days of the transatlantic slave trade. We can have one common ancestor or a few common ancestors within that time frame. But yeah, it's as far as the population is concerned, we are closer than we think. That's what that's in his book. We're closer than we think. And that's why, like, even the subject of race, when you will have a European that has Ethiopian great grandmother, and he might not know it.
Right.
People walking around today will look at him, and he's about as white as snow, not knowing that his grandmama's straight from the Horn of Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of this race talk is pointless, I think. Just from the research I'm conducting, you know, reading.
And family, understand what we're saying. We're not saying that racism doesn't exist and doesn't have to be addressed. What we're saying is the reasons behind it is nonsense that we fell for as a people. As a people, we fell for the okie doke. Like, the real enemy in this world, I don't care where you at, who you is poverty. The only color that matter in America is green. If you ain't got it, you are suffering. If you have it, you can make some things happen. You can even help other people elevate beyond their suffering. That's the color that matter. But we fell for the okie doke, and so we think our skin color matter. Where again, if you cut us, we bleed the same color. If you cut us open, everything is the same. And so that we got to come to terms with the humanity in all of us. Even when people lack humanity, we can't put that on the rest of a particular ethnic group. That's our problem. We do the things that we hate done to us. Mm-hmm. And whether we like it or not, the Bible got a remedy. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But instead, we see a white mass shooter, and the first thing, we hear it's a mass shooter, and the first thing we ask, is he black or white?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why we absolved of that. Because if it's a black mass shooter, now they might put that on all of us, and that's a causality of the racism that we talking about. Now, on the flip side, our European brothers and sisters don't necessarily have to worry about that crazy. As many mass shooters as been European, we've never heard Europeans say that reflects on all of us. Those are separate conversations on how racism affects us. But as far as racism existing and our continued perpetuation of it, the fact that we are humans, we gotta start having those conversations, because it's getting ridiculous. If poor people of every stock came together the way that 21-year-old man in 68 was talking about before they killed Fred Hampton, if they could do that, this would be a totally different society. But we stuck on the color of skin, the outside, instead of what's on the inside. That's how so many people get duped and fooled and scammed and all of these different things, because we worried about what's on the outside instead of what's on the inside. I know I went on a diatribe, but I just wanted to make sure I got that in there.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because that's what this whole discussion is really about with Dr. Jeanson. Racism based upon like the color of your skin, and the person that's being racist towards somebody who they may have cousins with, and you know, in a past generation, it just proves that we are all connected. We're more closer than we think, and the time scales that we see, you know, the conventional way of thinking with the science, with this so-called science, and the origins of man, it really separates us, because in our minds, and I'm gonna go back to what you was talking about in a hot second, but in our minds, when we think about the old world and the new world, like the Aztecs is considered part of the old world, and the Europeans coming in are stated to have come in from the new world. But in reality, based upon his research, they were contemporaries. Oh, I do have there. Back to one question you had stated. Another group of people who may flip the table is Native Americans, because his research has shown.
Wait a minute, are we talking actual Native Americans or
So here in America, Native Americans,
not the people, the black people who say they Native Americans, but actual Native Americans?
Well, I don't know. Again, I told you earlier, for those, because the conscious folk or the conscious community will tell you that there were black Aborigines here before the Native Americans got here, or may have been here at the same time, which may be true. That might be true. But, however, as far as the Native Americans' claims go, where they say they've always been here, no, sir. No, sir. He's done the research on the majority of, you know what I'm saying.
But we know they came over the
Alaskan Strait, yeah. But it's the timeline. They will tell you, scientists will tell you that they was here maybe 100,000 years before anybody else got here. But in reality, it could really only be maybe about maybe about 1,000, maybe 1,500 years ago, they may have migrated here. And there were several migrations of people that came from what he called Central Asia, and there was another group that came up from South America, and a group that came from South America stretched up into Central America, and then to the lower southeast of America and populated those areas. But yeah, when we do those shows on, you know, say on those topics, we get more into that. But as far as, you know, African Americans, because he's going to really hone in on us, because, you know, it's Black History Month. And so I asked him, you know, let's focus on that. And his conclusion, hey, we still African. At the end of the day, we still African. And he really puts a lot of time into making the case for us, for Black people, because he sees how biased the world is towards any science that may lift us up as Black people, because he understands who the spiritual enemy is, and that's the devil. You know what I'm saying? He deceives the whole world, and this false science of evolution, Darwinian evolution, is his tool, because there's no way that a man would have done those things that he did to those women unless he thought they were subhuman. The things that they did to us as Black people during that time, they were using Darwinian evolution, the philosophy of that, to justify what they was doing to us. That's the facts. Around that point in time, you had
they weren't using the Bible.
Nah, why would they use? If they had a Bible that they had created to, to deceive us, but as far as like they took part in the Bible, the slave Bible, but nah, they can't. How would they use the Bible to justify going to other countries and nations and stealing people? The Bible clearly says he's against men stealing or kidnapping.
I've been hearing that the Bible, that Christianity was used to enslave us, bro. I've been hearing that for years. Are you saying that there's no validity to this?
Nah, and the reason, the way Jesus said, you know them by their fruit. 2,000 years ago, Jesus said this. He must have known that people will claim, because he says, people will claim to be Christians, but their hearts will be far from him. If you go and you pillage, you rape, you kill, you kidnap, you enslave, none of that is justified in the Bible, which is why when they created the slave Bible, they took those particular verses out. All you have to do is read the Bible. Does this match with the slave?
I thought the slave Bible was only in the Caribbean, not in the continental United States.
It may have. I'm not real savvy on that, but all I know is that by that time, during this time, during the transatlantic slave trade, that the development of an English-speaking Bible was being produced. And there was a lot of heat from the Roman Catholic Church at that time. People were being burned at the stake for trying to produce Bibles to help people read, to help people come to their own conclusions. William Tinsdale, he was burnt at the stake. My son got a book called Ink on His Finger. When you get into discussions about translations, some people would try to say that William Tinsdale was really trying to get his copy of the book out before everybody else did. No. He was trying to get that Bible out because the Roman Catholic Church was not allowing people to read the Bible for themselves. If you got caught with a Bible, you got burnt. Also, King James and his translators, they took William Tinsdale's version and used it for the King James version. And so even after that, during the 1600s, of course, this is around the transatlantic slave trade. Christianity was already in Africa. Let's not forget about that. Although it was under suppression by the Ottoman Empire, the Arab Islamic Empire, Ottoman Empire, they suppressed the Christians in most places, but it was still thriving. You know what I'm saying? It was still thriving. So either way you look at it, the Bible, when it was being produced during the time that our ancestors were enslaved, by the 1700s, 1800s, there were Bibles everywhere. Everybody subscribe now. Everyone had a chance to own their own Bible because of the printing press and all that. So this is another, think about it. Why wouldn't the slave master want the slave to read the Bible? But yet they gave us the Bible, but they ain't going, you give me the Bible, but you don't want me to read the Bible. I don't get it. Whose reasoning is this? The white man gives me a Bible. Here's my Bible here. It's tore up. The white man gave me this Bible, right?
We've been using that.
Yes. White man gave me this Bible. But then tell me if I read it, he gonna whip me? I'm confused. Where is this reasoning coming from? So as far as that thing about the slave Bible, if it was only in the Caribbean, okay, but by the time the 18th century popped up, everybody had access to a Bible, including the slaves, if they were allowed. But what started happening, Pianki, when the slaves did read the Bible? That's the question. What started happening when they was reading the actual word of God?
That's the question. For themselves. What decisions did they make when they read it for themselves? Let's not take their intelligence out of it, unless you're gonna say they was fools. And we know how that go. So, but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. For now, we just wanted to give y'all a preview of what's to come on. It's the 24th, right?
21st.
21st. Next Wednesday. Yeah. So we just wanted to give y'all a quick preview. I'm gonna let my brother Negetee close out. Y'all know what it is with me. It's your brother DMG, aka Brother Pianki. Y'all come on Black. Negetee, close us out.
All right. So basically, like I said, I think this will be a real interesting show. And my goals in all this, though, is to open up, more interest in this field of study as far as apologetics is concerned with Christians who love science. And I am also invited Sister D. New, because I know she loves that topic. Although she claims she's not an expert, to me, I think she's an expert. But you may see her pop up. I hope she does. That's a invite to you, sis. But
shout out to D. New.
Yes. But basically, it's to point out the reliability of the Bible from a scientific perspective. Knowing that we can take the Bible literally, that God created Adam and Eve, one person, and from Dr. Jeanson's science, he can show how that at least from the Tower of Babel, from the Tower of Babel, even back to Adam, all the corruptions and the population growth and things of that nature only equal up to about 6,000 plus years. Everything is recent history. It's not billions of years as we've been taught in school. And it demonstrates this for the most part. Because of one man, sin entered into the world. Those corruptions that I talked about, I believe that those corruptions entered in right when sin entered into the world.
Subscribe
and you have
now.
Some of my brothers and sisters of the faith that believe that there were pre-Adamites here and all this other stuff. I don't follow that frame of thought, but I will say this, that as the Bible says, it was because of one man that sin entered into the world, and through sin it was death and corruption. Death is a sign of corruption. When we are born, we start to die. But what God didn't intend for that to happen. God wanted us and wants us to live forever. But because of what Adam did, that sin is passed down to every single human being. And what it demonstrates is that we're closer than we think. And also it demonstrates that because we are born in sin, that there's most definitely a need to remedy that, and that's through Jesus Christ. We all need a savior. We're not a bunch of races. We are but one race, mankind. And God so loved man that he sent his only son to die for the world. God so loved the world that he sent his son to die for the world. That means not just for the Jews, not just for the Black Hebrews, not just for the conscious folk, not just for Black folk, white folk, Chinese folk, everybody. Because when God created Adam, he didn't create him as a Hebrew, a Chinese man, or nothing like that. He was a man. And God loves us because, one, he created us in his image. When he created the world, who did he create the world for? At the end, everything was done except for us. Guess what? When he created us, ta-da, here's your world. Now you have dominion for it. God, because God is love, when you're a person of love, you want to demonstrate that love to someone else. And that's what God did by creating the world for us. He wanted us and wants us to live in peace and harmony with him. And because of what Adam did again, it messed up. But God sent Jesus Christ to rectify that relationship between us and him. So with that being said, I'm gonna sign out and we'll go from there.
Peace, family. We out. See y'all next Wednesday. Be here. Come get this work.
Okay.
Hey, that was my bad for cutting you off.
You
But
good,
since
bro.
you're here, you can go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Man, I forgot what I was about to say. You already know. I was like, you know what? Earlier today, it came back to mind for some reason, but then I forgot it again. Yeah,
It be like that, man. You know, we getting to be, we got the privilege of no longer being young men and not
yes,
quite being old men, but we
yeah,
still men of a certain age. So,
right,
you know,
right.
but shout out to my brother Lil Lucifer. I seen him in the chat and he can hit the link. Y'all, you know, if you got any questions, comments about the upcoming show or whatever the case may be, hit the link. If you got something on your mind, something you want to get off to me, something you want to get off to GT, hit that link. But my man Lil Lucifer, he say this is pseudo this, this is pseudo that. And shout out to my brother. Like I got a lot of respect for that brother. Just knowing, you know, the environment that he came up in and the people he been around, etc. But my man, like, okay, let's say we pseudo on science. That's what's up. Because you know, like I know, you pseudo on history. If you still got that notion that this Christian bishop named Arius thought that Jesus was just a regular dude. That's about as pseudo as it gets with regards to history. You said that out your mouth.
That's his
So
stance.
So if that's your stance, hey, we even. We pseudo on science, you pseudo on history. So it's all good. Unless you change your mind. But hit the link, family, if y'all got something y'all want to get off y'all chest.
Yeah,
My man GT.
I got a little over 5 minutes, so hey, y'all better make it quick. If you want to come roast me. I'm right here. I want the smoke.
So what you think when you hear pseudo attached to an expert in his field? Because if this expert was leaning towards what they felt
there
was the truth, I don't think we'll be hearing pseudo.
Yeah, it's like the word pseudo has become that ace in the whole comment, I guess, you know, like that's the only thing that they can revert to when dealing with this situation. It's like, how is it pseudo and the man is looking at the information under a telescope? I mean, that don't make sense to me. Like, you guys make so much fun of Christians and talk about we don't know science, but it seems like when y'all start talking about us and explaining to us or telling us that, you know, the actual observable things that we see is not science, that tells me y'all don't know anything about science. You don't know anything about science. If you think, if I'm looking under a microscope and I'm recording data down, and then I come away with the results. Each time I'm getting this, and then I come to a particular type of conclusion. I thought that was something that we were supposed to do in science. I guess not.
See, and that's my issue. I don't pretend to be an expert at anything. You know, I know a little bit about this and I know a little bit about that. But when we talk about things being pseudo. Like before I go yelling about this is pseudo and that's pseudo, I know I better be tight on everything else. And if you're not tight on everything else,
Right.
then
Uh
it is like, you know, yelling pseudo is kind of on anything is kind of crazy to me, because of course if you pseudo on something, it's gonna get called out. So be tight,
mhm.
be Trump tight on the other issues at hand before you start saying pseudo about other fields of study. Like if you ain't Trump tight on history, uh, if I ain't Trump tight on science, you probably ain't the one to call that out, because now I got to call out why you suck at this other thing.
Yeah.
And
And-
so you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
you should, you being that you suck at this other thing, you should have some allowances for other people to be wrong if they wrong.
It's called
But,
grace and mercy. But no.
but let me ask you this though. What makes one PhD more credible than another PhD?
It depends on their religious or lack thereof affiliation. So if the if the science points more towards an evolutionary or atheistic point of view, hey, that's who they gonna go with. Little Lucifer, the spirit that likes to type online, uh, that's who they gonna go for. But if if the science points towards more towards the Bible, they're gonna reject it and call it pseudo, fringe, all these crazy words that I'm supposed to be afraid of. Pseudo, pseudo. Like, come on, man. Find another word or something. Like,
Hey
find
man,
another
I
word.
I wonder if Bobby Banger feel bad for having brought that word to the community, because it is so overused now
Oh my
that
goodness.
I don't like.
Eh,
It is crazy how many people just run amok with that word, man. He started a trend. Like he should be able. It's to the point now where he should be able to trademark it,
Yeah.
because
Where they at though? I thought I mean they was talking all this pseudo stuff in the chat. Where they at?
hey, and you see, I
I
put the
don't
link
even
in there, man.
I don't even be on here like that. You know what I'm saying? They should come eat me up. I got a few minutes. They should come eat me up, guys. Like
Yeah, they
uh,
said something about food, so
yeah, like
I don't know.
I'm busy right now. Give me about 5 minutes, okay?
I seen something about food, so yeah, we ain't gonna be on here long. You know, I got to get up super early.
Yeah,
No, you
yeah. I
got to
got a
get
hot
up.
water heater to put in.
Yeah. I'm here. So yeah,
but
you gonna be
my
working an
main
8 hour shift.
goal, just to try and consolidate what I was trying to say, because I know I can bumble around sometimes, but basically what I was trying to put out there is, look, there's a different perspective than what's currently out there, and it's a perspective that has always been out there, and that is the creationist view of the world. It was only during the years of enlightenment where they felt like, oh, we killed God with science. If you look at the earliest volume of the encyclopedia, and you look at the history part, the historical part, it has Noah and it has Adam in there, 4004 BC. It has Noah dated to 1656 BC, and then it has the Exodus around 1447 BC, and then the Assyrian no the rise of the United Kingdom of Israel, then the divided kingdom, and then Assyria, Babylon, Greece, and I'm sorry, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome, and then all up to that current. I think it was like 18. Just look up the first volume of the encyclopedia. You'll see it. It's listed right there. This is the way that they used to look at the world. They really looked at the Bible as a historical book, and it was only during the age of rationalism that they felt like the Bible was pseudo, or that the Bible was unreliable. But the science is actually proving the rationalists wrong. Like I said in earlier with the research with Dr. Jensen, the corruption rate, and that's the question that I'm gonna ask him, because no, I don't always take what a scholar says 100%. You know what I'm saying? I gotta ask questions. That's the right thing to do, the honest thing to do. So, I want to ask him in regards to the corruption rates that he observed. Do they stay the same? And if they do, then yeah, he has a reliable time scale to date the ancestry back to certain points of time. And not only that, not only the time, but the historical events that were taking place, like the rapid spread of Islam that caused a lot of migrations. We had a lot of people to die during the what they call it, the plague, during the Dark Ages,
Which one?
because
The Black Plague?
the
Or
Black Plague, yeah. Like, we lost a lot of human beings during that point in time, and it wasn't really a whole lot of people living there. Then all these things are going to come out. So, and if they feel like Dr. Jensen is pseudo, uh,
that's what they
they'll have a
said.
chance. They'll
He's
have a
pseudo.
chance. Yeah, they'll have a chance to ask some questions
Fringe.
Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah.
Friend, yeah. And it's sad. And it's sad because even some Christians follow that perspective. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't trust answers in Genesis. They're not really reliable. But they sitting with the same PhDs, doctorates, bachelors, all of that some of these atheistic scholars have, and even more in some cases. And you telling me I can't trust them just because they Christian? Isn't that bias?
Yeah, and like I said, I just want somebody to break down for me, because again, I'm a novice. I got a GED. I don't pretend otherwise. You know what I mean? I just want somebody to break down for me what makes a PhD, a person who is an expert in their field. They got the highest level of education. What makes one more reliable or more credible than the other, to where they work can be considered pseudo, fringe, unacceptable, etc. And I just want to know if it makes sense. We got little Lucifer in the building.
Oh, the Lord rebukes you.
Hey, what's going on,
Oh
brother?
man.
What's
Oh
going on,
man.
I
brothers
don't,
and
de- I
sisters?
don't, I'll deal with Lucifer like that. What's up, bro? What's up with you?
Man, nothing
We
much.
just call him by his other name, Mudawa.
Right.
Mudawa the Great. Mudawa the
Yeah.
Great. Go ahead, brother.
Noodle rock.
Yeah. What's going on, brothers? Man, all is well, man. Hopefully everybody within earshot of my voice is feeling well, doing well, and be well maybe tomorrow and the next day thereafter. I
God
just
Yes,
willing.
sir. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to chime in, man. You gotta be careful with a lot of those answers in Genesis, guys. They posit themselves as being scholarly, but they're really just shooting Christian propaganda. If what they are, they're called young Earth creationists, and
Mm.
those are the gods that they're positing that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, and we can trace it all back, and all of the archaeological records mean absolutely nothing. This is what they're running around telling people, but we know that we have archaeological evidence of bones in Africa that go back 300,000 years old. We have archaeological evidence of bones here in the Western Hemisphere that go back 30,000, 40,000 years old. We have bones across Asia that go back 50, 60,000 years old. So you got to be careful when you listen to some of those guys. The Michael Behees, the Jensens, and all of these other guys, they come from a small camp of Christian fundamentalists that come out of the South. And if you scratch the surface of them, the surface of their argument is this. The reason why they're young earth creationists is because if they have to admit that the oldest bones come from Africa, what else did they have to admit? That means they would have to admit that they're descendants of who?
Monkeys.
No, come on, bro. They're
Hey,
descendants of
because I say that because
I know.
what you
Let
I'm gonna let him rock.
Mutawar
I'm
let
gonna let him rock.
Mutawar
Go
finish
ahead.
his thought. Go ahead,
Go
Mutawar.
ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
if they have to admit that that the oldest human remains, Homo sapien remains, are in Africa that are 300,000 years old. If they have to concede to that fact, what else do these Christian fundamentalists have? These Southern white Christian fundamentalists, what else would they have to concede to? They would have to concede to being the descendants of African people, family. This is the
DMG.
this is the reason why they hold. This is the reason why they hold so strong to the 6,000 year mumbo jumbo.
See, that's what I'm saying. He didn't listen. He wasn't listening. DMG, didn't I say Mr. Ginseng said that there's a possibility that a lot of Europeans have a lot of may have some Ethiopian or African descendants. I did say that, right? I did
You
point
did.
that out.
You did.
Okay, okay. I was just see because what all you was doing, Mutawat, was just trying to make a point, a talking point. That's what that sounded like. So
That
good,
definitely wasn't a
good job.
talking point, brother, because this
No,
is the
I
part
heard
that
it
you're
before though.
fundamentally this is the part
No,
that you're
I heard it
fundamentally
before
missing,
though.
bro. If you're having
Uh,
a young earth creationist conversation, these people believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. That's it. That's all.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
They
yeah.
believe that Adam and Eve are the progenitors of everybody on the face of the earth. That's
That,
their argument.
yep.
That's their
Yeah,
argument.
it
Now,
is.
are they going to concede that Adam and Eve began in Africa? Yes or no?
I would doubt that they would concede. They would probably push. They would probably push the this out of Africa theory further north, much more closer to let's say Mesopotamia. You know where the
So,
Tower of Babel was at.
so
Yeah,
they would do this. Listen to what I'm trying to get you to fundamentally understand, brother. Please hear me. These people
I
are trying
heard you,
to these people are trying to remove themselves from being the descendants of Africans, brother. That's the crux. That's the
DMG.
crux of what they're doing, good
DMG. If you
brother.
hit that horn one more time.
Hit it one more time, because I'm dropping
If you hit
bombs
that
on your
horn one
ass,
more
man.
time, after I done told him what Dr. Jensen said,
Well, wait a minute. Well. Okay. What he's saying is, despite Dr. Jensen's statement about people of European descent having some DNA from Africa, he's saying the fact that they saying that the out of Africa theory isn't true, that they're still saying, hey, look, this notion that life began in Africa is still false, and thus, regardless of the concession that they may have African DNA, they still taking the science of the out of Africa theory, and thus the concrete proof that they are the descendants of Africans off of the table to take themselves out of Africa. That's his point, regardless of what Dr. Jensen said.
Thank
all
you,
right, all
brother.
right, all right. Now check this out. The research that yielded the out of Africa theory was based off of what? Mitochondrial DNA, was it not?
And Y chromosome
Yeah,
DNA.
no. See, don't add that. You lying right there.
No, I'm not.
No,
No, I'm not.
stop. You lying. Stop,
I'm not lying.
stop,
How you gonna
Maybe
say, brother?
maybe
Don't.
stop.
maybe he just mistaken. Let's not just
He okay.
assume the brother lying.
My bad. He's mistaken because originally the mitochondrial DNA was was the sole tool that they used because the research was young at the time that they came with this conclusion. This was about 10, 20 years ago. So this out of Africa theory was based off of mitochondrial DNA. Ah, Jensen is working with the Y chromosome DNA, and what has happened there is the mutational rates that you see in the Y chromosome that goes from father to son, unchanged. The corruptions within the inheritance of the son, the grandson, the great great grandson is constant. So that means he was able to gather a timeline based off of those corruptive changes,
Now let me
which
ask you a
means,
question,
hold on,
brother.
stop, let me finish, let me
Okay, go
finish,
ahead.
let me finish. Which means that the mitochondrial DNA that they was researching and the Y chromosome DNA are yielding different results. With the mitochondrial DNA, I don't even know how I remember this. With the mitochondrial DNA, you will have what appears to be a very long span of time. That is true. But with the Y chromosome DNA, and not only Dances and Genesis is dealing with this, but there are secular scientists that's looking at the same thing. The mutation rates in the Y chromosome are not hundreds, thousands of years. No, they're only a few generations. As a matter of fact, they did a test on rats in the lab, and they looked at their mutation rates and came to the same conclusion.
Can I stop you
Evolution,
right there, brother? Can I stop you right there?
evolution,
Can I stop you right there?
their
Let,
What you're
let,
doing
let,
definition.
is
let, let, let him finish right quick, Mudawan, and then we're going to
all
turn it
right.
over to you. Go ahead,
All right.
Najee.
The
Go
results
ahead, brother
of
Najee.
the results the results of the rats that they researched, the mutation rates within their DNA yielded the same results. It wasn't hundreds of years that they saw these changes. It was a few years, a few years, and this is what lab animals. He's seen this in the humans Y chromosome DNA, males particular. So that's what he's using. So I mean, you right in your
Now,
assessment as far as mitochondrial DNA is concerned, but the Y chromosome DNA is
now
what
let me
he's using.
and I am definitely not gonna sit here and accuse you of being intentionally disingenuous. What I am going to say is you might not fully understand the science behind what you're saying. Now, I said that to say this, brother. We know for sure that the Y chromosome atom A00 is found in Africa. We know that that is over 150,000 years old, good brother. We know
How did
that.
they come to that
Listen
determination?
to.
Let,
Hold on,
let,
brother.
let him get it out. Let him get it out.
Let me finish, brother. We know this. This isn't something. This is what the academic consensus of geneticists worldwide say. They say, hey man, the oldest Y chromosome markers we have right now is A00 found in Africa. Now we also know that the oldest mitochondrial markers is the L marker found in Africa. But when we first noticed out of Africa, we see the mutation of the L that goes in to create M and N in the Levant region. We see this, brother, and I'm not saying that you're being intellectually dishonest intentionally. I'm saying that you probably don't know the DNA as well as you think you do. You've read that man's book, but I don't think you're understanding it. And I think he's intentionally being misleading with some of the evidence. Because if he was intellectually honest with the evidence, he would be forced to say that all Homo sapien life began in Africa and spread outward over over 250, closer to 300,000 years that we know of today. And that timeline is not going to get shorter. It's going to probably get older, good brother. And
Go ahead, GT.
Okay, so you're kind of repeating yourself, and um, let me say it like this: this migration or this diversion of the L haplogroup is what you're talking about,
mm-hmm.
right? Okay. Uh, the haplogroups in what you're talking about and how they are broken up into different family trees. This is the research that that he's talking about and that I'm referencing. He's using the Y chromosome to look at when a particular haplogroup divided into many different haplogroups. And
Mm-hmm.
all he is saying is that the mutation rates that your scientists are looking at show a large expanse of time. And his research, from what he can see, is is demonstrating that it only happens in a few generations. And with that, with that, he can go back in time and see, okay, when let's say EB, right, haplogroup EB, when that divided into certain subgroups, using the mutation rates that he uses now that he can see, he went all the way back to around 700 700 something BC. So about that time, somewhere in the Sudanese area, our ancestor, a group split from that area around 700 something BC. Because I love Egyptian history so much, I recognized it right off the top. That is when the Assyrian Empire finally destroyed the remaining of the Egyptian. What was it? The 25th dynasty. What's his name? Taharka, one of my favorites. The Assyrian Empire came in, Esarhaddon, that's who it was. The Assyrian king came in, and Taharka fled back to Ethiopia. So what he is saying is
Taharka is
that,
not from Ethiopia, but continue.
okay, my bad, you're right, not Ethiopia. He went back down into Nubia. So what happened was, what Jensen is showing you is that based off the rate changes that he see in the DNA. And when these haplogroups that you're talking about split, there was a cause to the split, and now we can match it up with history. It was because of the Assyrian Empire that went in and decimated what was left of Egypt, 664 BC. That's all. And I'm not even saying that, oh yeah, he's 100% true or accurate. But what I'm saying is that what he's presenting here is much more reliable than what your scientist is saying.
And I'm gonna stop you right there, brother. And I'm just gonna be perfectly frank with you. And this ain't no disrespect to you.
Nah, I
This
want
is
you to
this.
be little Lucifer with me. Don't be
No, no,
Frank.
no. I am little Lucifer, but you don't understand what Lucifer is. So that's one of the one
I
of the
know what
huge.
I know what
No,
Lucifer is, bro. Just stop.
Let,
Just
let,
say what you
let,
gotta
let,
say,
let,
bro.
let them get it out. Because after this, I'm going to let you respond, GT, and then we're going to get on out of here.
right,
All right,
right. And
all right.
all I'm saying is this, bro. Your spidey signal should tingle if you see somebody that's trying to change history, change science, change archaeology, change all these dates to fit the biblical narrative, brother. This man is from a group called Answers in Genesis. They are about as biased can be. This is pseudoscience. Anybody listening to my voice right now, do a simple wiki search. Young Earth creationist. Young Earth creationists. These are the crackpots that are sitting up here saying that the Earth is 6 to 10,000 years old because that's what fits within the biblical narrative. And no credible scientist across the world agrees with them. They are laughed at, bro. These are the people that tried to come up with a thing called creation science to try to get creationism put in the classroom to say it should be taught right next to evolution. And the Supreme Court shot them down and said that if this creation science that you're trying to come with is all it is just regular creation, and we can't teach creation in the school system. They are religious fundamentalists, brother. Get it through your head. Separate your faith from science. Love your God. Respect your God. Do all you can to be a man of God. Love your family. Do whatever you got to do. Praise your Jesus. But don't sit up here and try to bring science into your religion. You will get beat up and mugged every time, family.
GT, it's on you.
All right, so I'm gonna finish with saying this. Creation science, we had that first. Creation science was first. And it wasn't until the Enlightenment era, so-called Enlightenment era, that they decided that they killed God with their so-called science. But the problem now is that newer technology is starting to demonstrate that perhaps the Bible had it right the whole time. Yeah, you right. You right. You right. The Supreme Court made that ruling. But let's think about who's controlling the Supreme Court. Let's think about some of the laws that were in place at a point in time when we were in slavery. What did they say about us? You 1/3 of a human? The science to them told them that you were.
No,
Should I
it didn't.
follow? Should
No,
I
it
follow
didn't.
that?
It never said that.
Can I talk?
Let
Can I talk?
them get it out. Let them get it out. Go ahead, GT.
Now here's a perfect example that Moodwa is just making some type of point. Like, okay, you look at the Grand Canyon, and then you look at Mount St. Helens. The same features are shown. Now, when a creation scientist say, well, we have every right to question the secular science because the same thing we see at the Grand Canyon that they say happened billions of years ago only took a few months at Mount St. Helens in 1980, 1981. When that mountain exploded, or when that volcano exploded, it left the same exact features. You also have people in the laboratory running tests to show you that these so-called layers that you see that are that you all say take millions of years, they only take minutes, hours, days. So the evidence is out there. There's clear evidence that maybe what y'all saying about creation or about the world is not true. Maybe it's y'all that's trying to get people away from God. Maybe y'all trying to take people away from God by feeding them this science that is falsely called. Because some of this stuff that y'all say is basically based off of conjecture. We're both using the same evidence. None of us was here to see it happen, but like I said, newer technology, new sciences are demonstrating that the Bible actually has it right. And just like when the James Webb Telescope went up, all of a sudden, when he's looking around, when they pan around, they see stars everywhere. They see fully formed galaxies in the furthest reaches of space. That contradicts the Big Bang because the further you go out, you shouldn't see fully grown or fully formed galaxies. They should be like in the phase of a cluster or a cosmic cloud or something. But no, they fully developed, which demonstrates again what the Bible said is true. The way that God created this world is exactly how he did it, not how y'all saying it. So blame your own.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Blame
Please
your own science.
Don't die on this hill, bro. Please
Look,
don't. I've seen too many people die on this hill.
Blame your
bro.
own scientists. Blame your own scientists.
Don't die on this hill, bro.
So look, my brother Muda, why we got to get out of here. But look,
Right,
I
know.
when you coming back on to speak your speech, and me and you can have that Counselor Nasir conversation. But when you
Right.
want to come back on and just have a regular interview where you can just talk your talk, teach your spiel and all of that on your own accord.
I mean, shit. I'll be available. Not tomorrow, but the day after.
Okay.
And
I'm
You
gonna
you know,
gonna
reach
we
be
could
out to
just
you and
available?
yeah,
see what we can
we
get
could just
lined
have
up.
You
a
gonna be available?
conversation, and, you know, because this is like, and I understand religious people and I respect religious people, but when when you try to start blending your theology with science, you know, like I'm not gonna go into the church and try to teach science. Don't come into the classroom, to the science room, and try to teach church. Don't do that to our children. Our children don't need that, brother. Our children need the truth. Our
Well,
children need
I
the
don't think our
facts.
children need to be told that they
Hold on,
came from monkeys.
let them finish up, GT, because you got the last word.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm saying, bro, like our children don't need that antiquated BS that's trying to be pushed off to them by these religious fundamentalist groups, brother. Like it already stands that African Americans are the least scientifically literate people in this country. We have to change that. You cannot become more scientifically literate by trying to put your theology in there with it, brother. We cannot sit here and deny bones that are 20,000 years old, 50,000 years old, 100,000 years old. We cannot sit here and ignore the global academic consensus that comes from every continent around the world. We cannot do that, brother. That is being intellectually dishonest. You are following someone else's teachings. I don't care if it's Michael Behe. I don't care if it's Jensen. I don't care if it's any of them other cats that come from Answers in Genesis. They all been beat up and thrown in the trash can, bro. Stop trying to rehash their garbage talking points and repurpose them to our people, man. Please stop doing that, man. Please.
Hey, what if we did this, Muda Wild? What if you came on and talked about, because it'll be the day before Dr. Jensen come on, you could talk about why it's not good to mix science and religion.
I would love to do that, brother. I would love to do that.
Okay,
I would literally love to do that.
I'll hit you up tomorrow, and then we can get it scheduled for Tuesday, and make up a thumbnail and all that good stuff.
That sounds good, brother. And, hey, brothers, enjoy y'all night, man, and everybody with the earshot of my voice. You know, just be diligent in your learning. You know, don't mix theology and science. Understand that they're separate for a reason. You know, you can be a God-fearing man and then, you know, be real about the science. You don't have to mix the two. You don't have to do that. But, you know, good night, everybody.
Likewise, have a good
Huh.
night, brother. Since it's little Lucifer, I
Bon,
got to give it
bon,
this laugh.
buenas noches.
All right, bro. It's on you. You got the last word. Take us to
So,
take us to church.
I'm trying not to be in the doghouse, but this is what I'm gonna say. You cannot get any type.
Tell your beautiful wife I'm sorry.
I'll tell her. I'll tell her. Look, you cannot get any biological reading from a 20,000 year old bone. I don't know where he getting his information from. If you're able to extract DNA or information from a fossil at that, something's wrong. But see, look, they found a T Rex fossil, a T Rex bone that still had marrow in it, soft tissue in it. DMG, all I'm saying is that somebody lying to us. They're trying to get us, like he called himself little Lucifer, and he's doing exactly what his father wants him to do. You remember in the garden where Lucifer came to Eve and he said, "Has God said?" And what happened? She fell for it. She fell for it. If she would have just listened to what God said, she would have been ready. But no, he was able to cause her to doubt what God said. That's what they want. That's what they want. Because for some reason, I, maybe they are afraid that, hey, one day that they will have to stand before the actual creator God and give an account for their life? I mean, and how is it that we're mixing religion and science when all I'm doing is looking at, for example, and you tell me if I'm gonna close with this. You tell me if I'm being scientific. You tell me if I'm being religious when I'm saying that our bodies are made up of all the elements of the earth. Is that religious?
I don't think so.
Okay. So why is it so wrong for me to say, well, okay, if our bodies are made up of all the elements of the earth, and then when God said he created man from the dust of the earth, voila, why can't those two be true at the same time? I'm just saying. So
Hey,
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that. I mean, I
we
know
got
the
our
Bible
brother.
doesn't have. I
Hey,
know
we
the
got our
Bible. I know
brother
the Bible ain't
Mutawa.
a science book, but hey,
We got our brother Mutawa coming on Tuesday, and he gonna break down why you shouldn't mix religion and science. And so, hey, I hope you're gonna be watching so you can hit the link when it's time to take questions. But we got GT coming back on Wednesday with a PhD, Dr. Nathaniel Jeanson, and he gonna break it down one way or another. You ain't gotta like it, you ain't gotta love it. You can be indifferent to it, but you're gonna have to deal with it when it hit Paradigm Shift TV 314. And here's the thing. Again, I'm gonna need somebody to come and break down to me what makes one PhD more credible than another, and why we shouldn't take certain PhDs serious when we should take others. And so we'll see what's up. But I'm gonna let my brother GT click off so his wife don't kill me. And I'm gonna finish up. But I'm gonna holler at you, my brother. I'll see you Wednesday with the good doctor. And y'all look out for Mudawa on Tuesday.
Roger that. I appreciate it, bro.
No doubt, no doubt. So, family, before I close out, I want to say this. And you know, you 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 hear the talk around YouTube and these different corners of the social media atmosphere. And listen, if I was cool with you and I ain't cool with you, you're not on my mind. Outside of when, for some reason, you let me know I'm on your mind by saying my name. Simple as that. I don't think about you. I don't want to know nothing about you. I don't care about you. Period. You can call my platform a struggle platform and whatever kind of put down you want to put on it. But I'm doing my platform the way I want to do it. And I ain't got to use nobody else content. I ain't got to make my name off of nobody else stuff. I do what I do when I want to do it, how I want to do it. And I don't care if 2 people watching, because it ain't based off getting off on other people's stuff. You don't see me breaking down nobody else videos. I have my people come on, we do our thing, and we go about our business. So really, you probably shouldn't worry about what I got going on over here. You should worry about what you got going on over there. And for those who want to say my platform is a struggle platform or whatever you want to say about my platform, I dare you to come up with some content that don't rely on other people's content. Then maybe I can muster up some kind of way to care about what you think about me and mine on a serious level. But until then, it ain't really no reason for me to worry about it. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and I'm sure you're gonna keep doing what you do. And mine gonna be original, and yours gonna be based off other people's. And that's cool. But again, I don't care how many times you say my name, I'm never going to say yours. Period. I'm not, the fascination ain't mutual. The curiosity ain't mutual. The obsession ain't mutual. Like the emotion attached ain't mutual. Shout out to everybody that keeps supporting. Y'all know we got the channel membership. Soon as I get to about 10, 15 members, I'm gonna start doing those monthly raffles. I know I ain't been pubbing it like I should, and I'm gonna figure out a way to start doing that more often. It's just like I do this for fun. I ain't doing this for clout the way other people try to accuse me of doing. If I did, I'd do it a lot more than I do. Fact is, them same people who be talking that clout chasing stuff, it seem like they getting it's becoming more evident that they the ones clout chasing. Because see, when I don't like somebody, you ain't gonna catch me having no cordial conversations with them. You're not. It ain't no scenario in the multiverse where if I don't like a person, you're gonna catch me having a casual conversation with them. You're not. Never mind if I hate them. So listen, I don't know how y'all do it, where y'all from, but around my way, we act a little differently when we, feel a particular way, and we done built our whole persona off of those emotions. So, but again, do what you do. Do what y'all do. And I'm gonna do what I do. But just remember, the feelings, they not mutual. Like, you say my name over and over again, I'm not gonna pop up in your mirror like Candyman. And your name is still gonna be non-existent to me. So keep that in mind when I come up for random reasons in your brain and you want to start saying it. I have no thoughts about nothing as it relates to you that are positive. So shout out to the haters, shout out to the supporters. We're gonna be black at it, family. This is your brother, DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki, aka the Black Existentialist, also known as the HNIC. And Tuesday we got Brother Mudawa. He gonna be talking about why you shouldn't mix religion and science. And then we got the Landmark Show, Negetee, working behind the scenes to bring us a PhD. We're gonna have that up both over here, Paradigm Shift TV 314 proper and Paradigm Shift TV 314 University. I'm gonna start getting the links to all these different channels that we creating to try to bring y'all the same kind of content, but in different ways and in different phases. So, but we got Jacob Berman helping out with Paradigm Shift University. The same energy you see on the whole effing show with my brothers, the Craig and Craig Law Firm. That's what you're gonna see over on Paradigm Shift Raw. We got Cap 10K and his boys over there. We got the Battle of the Ideologies channel. And I gotta convene with these brothers because I haven't been doing shows much lately. I've been having people step in for me, just having some stuff I had to deal with. But on the 24th, we supposed to have A1, and we supposed to have your favorite urban apologist, my brother, your brother, nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel, debating whether or not the Bible is for everybody or if it's just for the Israelites. If they want to push that back, get a little more notice about it, a little more, promotion behind it, I'm gonna see if they want to do that, or we can still go forward with it on the 24th and just hit it hard as we push toward that mark. My suggestion is going to be we push it back maybe a week or two and pub it up a little bit, maybe even get it on a bigger platform. And, I'll talk to some of my YouTube bros with bigger audiences about getting some eyes on that. In the meantime, come back Tuesday, check out Brother Mudawa. Come back Wednesday, check out GT and Dr. Jeanson. And we'll be back at it again, family. Come check out your boy. We'll be dropping some jewels. Sign up for that membership. It's your brother DMG. We out. And that's peace.